Oh, wow. It's been a busy week. Um, what's been going on? Well, last week my kids were on March break, and so I spent a lot of time driving across the island, dropping my son off at a day camp that he quite enjoyed. I think it was the week before March break when it was Thursday. My wife turned to me and said, "Is March break next week?" And I went, "I don't think so." And then she said, "It's next week, isn't it?" And we realized we had totally gotten the dates mixed up for when March break was. So that happened. But we got through it, and the kids, I think, had a good time and had a bit of rest. And, they got to spend time outdoors a bit. My daughter worked on art projects, and I was really busy. I was in the middle of getting an exhibition framed for three artists that opens at the end of the month. So I'll be interested in seeing that when it's all on the wall. It's a lot of fun to help artists with their work. What else is going on? A jumble of stuff here. I finished this painting I had started a while back, and I think it turned out okay. It's not. I quite like the face. Uh, it is what it is. Sometimes paintings they go, they excite you, and sometimes you have to live with them a little while. I think maybe this is one of those paintings that I'll have to live with a little while, and maybe someday it might inspire something better. I don't know. Funny thing is, I don't have a title yet. Usually, as I'm working, I come up with a title, but I don't have one. So I'm thinking of one, trying to come up with one. Actually, if you have any suggestions, put it in the comments section. You're not going to win anything if I pick your title, just bragging rights. So that's what I'm working on. What else? I have been busy with framing, of course, but I'm also been taking a small business course through a local arts organization on PEI for small businesses in the creative fields. And as an artist, picture framer, I'm always trying to come up with new ideas. And I recently bought a Epson ET 8550 printer. I'm planning on making some art cards with it. And, if there's a pop-up sale or a farmer's market or craft fair, I might, try to sell some work like that. It's always, as a picture framer, there's all these periods when I'm really busy, and there's periods when I'm not busy. So it might be kind of nice to have some other things going on. And this is a cat, another cat. This is a different cat than Scout. This is not Scout. This is Amaya. And usually it's Scout that raids my videos, but Amaya is usually asleep in my daughter's room, but my daughter's at school, so she's wandering the house looking for company. And this cat, oddly enough, is the chatty one. She talks a lot, but she's not talking right now. She's always making little chirping sounds. What else? Anyway, so this painting's done. I'm trying to come up with a title. If somebody wants to recommend one, I might use it or not. You're not going to win anything. Just bragging rights. It's been a while because I've been so busy, I haven't done much painting. So I'm starting another painting, and it's hard to see it there, but it's going to be a rooster. The idea behind this is it's the size of a scanner on my printer. So I'm going to do a painting, and there's going to be lots of detail, and then I'll scan it and maybe crop it in such a way that it makes a nice card. So that's going to happen. Other things that are going on. What else? I have an update on my Conklin pen. I haven't received it yet, but I ordered a new nib to replace the Omniflex nib in this that I hate. And I'm just getting a regular Conklin nib, one of the it is going to be in a black finish, and I hope it's better than this nib, because I really like the look of this pen, and I'm going to do some work on it and hopefully get it working to a satisfactory smoothness and flow, and start entering it into my inked pens lineup, because I really like the pen. I was just massively disappointed in the nib. What else going on? I think I mentioned this before, but a friend gave me this, and I thought it was very funny. The ink stained wretch. I don't have any ink stains on me right now. Watercolor ink, fountain pen ink does wash off after a day or so. So Yeah, but the number of times I look at my hands and it's like, oh yeah, I'm covered in ink. So a friend of mine, you know, gave me this, and I was quite pleased. But I'm not going to use the soap. I'm just going to put it on my shelf where I keep a lot of my other uh, uh, pen-related things, and just keep it as a piece of memorabilia or you know, a knickknack. Uh, Actually, a friend of mine contacted me recently, and he's an antique book. He deals in antiques and a lot of printed matter, like old books and reproductions and fine prints and fine art. And he has a magazine from the 1800s that he wants to, that I'm trading with him for some stuff. And in it are two old fountain pen ads, like from the 1890s, or two, not necessarily fountain pens, but two ads from pen companies in the States. And I'm really looking forward to getting that. And the next time he's in town, hopefully he'll drop by and we can discuss terms, and that might enter into my collection. I'm not really collected a lot of ads yet, but you know, I often see them on eBay and things like that, and certain pen related paraphernalia. And yeah, so I'm going to get that into my collection, and I'll do something with that. Maybe I don't think I'll frame them up. I don't want to cut the magazine or anything like that. It's quite old. So I'm going to, you know, probably just put it on my bookshelf or something like that. Maybe scan the print, maybe scan the ads just to, and then make a print and frame it up for my wall. That's one thing. My wife asked me to do a project for her. She has this little pen case. It's a pulp storage, Midori, made in Japan. You know, it's just cardboard, and it has like little buttons and stuff. And she stores pens in it, but sometimes she wants to carry more pens. But the problem is, as you can hear, you know, one pen in there is okay, it bounces around. But if you put two pens in there, she was a little worried that it might get scratched. And she asked me to come up with a way to store it. And right now she has her Lamy Cp1. I bought this pen recently, and I did a video on it, and I really like the pen. It was just it's a lovely pen. I love Lamy. The only thing I did find about it was it's a little narrow for my hands, you know, a little slim for my hands. Still comfortable, but she really loves it, and so she has that now, and she uses it. And what she wants me to do is come up with a way to convert this so that she can carefully put some pens in it. And I've been thinking about a few different ideas. You know, I could sew in a little bit of elastic bands or something like that. I was thinking, but what I might do actually is convert this to something I've done with other cases. I had made this little case out of a geometry set, and the pens essentially just sit in there, you know, like that. And you can carry two pens in it. This TWSBI doesn't really fit, but you know, you can put a couple different pens in it. Just close up the case and toss it in the bag and carry it around if you want some carry. So I'm actually going to try to do that with this. And what this is just like a craft foam that I picked up at a craft store, and just cut two slots, and then I put a layer of paper over it. And so that's probably what I'm going to do with this. The idea also of maybe just looping some elastics through there somehow and tying them off with the band might also work, but this might look a little nicer, I'm thinking. And so that's what I'm working on. Anyway, as I say, I've been busy. I've been taking a training course. It's called Pivot. It's quite enjoyable. I realize how little I actually know about business, even though, you know, I've been sort of self-employed as an artist and picture framer for years. But what I would like to do with my new printer is start making cards. And my daughter also is an artist, and she's got lots of images that she wants to make into greeting cards for herself. And maybe, you know, it'd be kind of cool for a kid, you know, 15, maybe she wants to start a little business where she's selling some of her work. You know, I think that would be kind of neat. There's all kinds of different little pop-up sales and craft fairs and stuff like that occur on the island over the year. So we can maybe, the two of us can do something like that together. And yes, so I've been doing some maintenance on my YouTube. I'm really enjoying YouTube, and I'm learning more as I go. My intention is to keep it as fairly simple as possible. I don't want to get into a lot of editing and stuff like that. But one thing I tried last night, I started putting text on my thumbnails, and I'm still getting it to look the way I want. I noticed just being online, one of my videos popped up, but there was no real identifying text on it. So you see it on a lot of other ones. So I went online and found a spot, and then I asked my daughter, oddly enough, if she knows anything about it, and it was called Canva. It's putting text on thumbnails or different, lots of different purposes. And 15-year-olds, if you got a technological problem, ask them, they know what's going on. So she actually uses it for school projects and other things. And so she took her old dad and gave me a tutorial on how to use Canva. And so I've been sort of going through all my old videos and putting text on the thumbnails. And I'm still getting the hang of it. I think some of them I might have put it on too large, and I'm just trying to decide on how I want to do it. So I hope nobody minds, I hope nobody minds that I've been doing that. I think it looks better in many ways. So yeah, so I'm always doing things like that, trying to, I like improving skills, and I'm really enjoying learning about YouTube and how to use it and what it's all about. And lots of people are commenting and giving me good advice, and I'm learning about new products, or somebody will recommend inks and I write them in my book, and somebody might recommend a pen, or tell me somebody recommended a tip the other day about, I have a pair of section pliers that I bought at Anderson Pen, but somebody actually pointed out that, you can also find spark plug pliers. And so ease of availability is you don't have to, if you're looking for some section pliers, go to a hardware store or something and look in the automotive section and find some spark plug pliers, and you might find something that'll work as section pliers. Thinking about it, maybe what I have are a form of spark plug pliers, but it's great to come up with all these things. Sometimes you don't have to, if in the fountain pen hobby, you can find tools and you can adapt things to your needs. And so you can find things at hardware stores and dollar stores and craft stores that you can use for, tuning up your pens or working on old pens and things like that. One of the things I use when I'm restoring an old fountain pen is you use shellac to glue the latex sac on to the nib section. But the thing about that is shellac is shellac. Some of the, online repair part suppliers will sell you little bottles of shellac. But actually, what you can do is just go down to your hardware store and get a can of shellac for less and just use that. Problem is you end up with a lot of shellac. But, you'll probably find other uses for it. What else am I doing? I'm looking forward to the weekend. There's a kind of a entertainment expo occurring. My kids are quite into cosplay and role-playing games and video games. So there's an entertainment expo occurring on the weekend that I'll take the kids to. They're very busy planning their costumes, what they want to dress up as. And so that'll be fun. It has been canceled the last couple of years, mainly because, of COVID. But this year it's going ahead, and cross our fingers, it'll be a lot of fun. And what I liked about the first one that I went to was that, I took my son the first time, and it was so great to see all these people, having a really great time and realizing, wow, these are my people, My son was so delighted to see kids dressed up in cosplay and different video game characters and anime and stuff that he's into, and he was like in his own world. He really enjoyed it, and a lot of fun. People really had a good time. And then, as the last couple had been canceled because of COVID, so they're going ahead this week. That'll be fun. I'll take the kids to that. And what do I have going on? I have, a nib coming, as I said, to repair my Conklin. But I also found online recently some broken pens, uh, old pens, and they're in rough shape, but they're piston fillers. And there's like 5 of them, and they're all the same brand, and some of them are, have different problems. But I'm hoping that when I get them, my plan is to take them apart, see if I can find enough working parts in the 5 that I have to put one pen together and get it working. I'm not too sure on the quality of the nibs. They could be rough. But with the broken ones, what I'm thinking of doing is sort of turning them into Frankenstein pens. So I might, I've used resins before and cast molds for different things and made parts and shapes and stuff like that. My son has a hobby where he's into, painting miniatures and making miniatures, and we've cast a few things together. So I might try to figure out ways to make some, some of the barrels are broken, but I might figure a way to extend the barrels and cast them in resin and join them together and seal them up so that and maybe color them in some way. So it's something I've always wanted to do, take old broken pens and Frankenstein them, turn them into something usable. I might have to figure out what nib size is on it, maybe, just get some Goulet nibs, or, all the different pen companies seem to carry replacement nibs for different things. So I might, find out if I can use the nibs I have, or if I have to get new nibs. But that's a fun project that I'm really looking forward to doing. As I said, there's some issues with the parts, but I think I can clean them up and get something working. What else? Yeah, so I've been busy with framing. I have lots of work to do. I'm taking a course. Kids had March break. Weather on PEI is in that sort of dismal spring-like point where it's, it's like around freezing or above freezing, but very wet. So you can't get warm. I'm looking forward to some sunlight. It's been a while since I've seen the sun, or it feels that way. Listening to the news, I'm kind of horrified by what's going on, and I don't really know what's going to happen there. So that's stressful. It's stressing a lot of kids out, I find. But we do what we can, I suppose, and try to adapt. So doing lots of stuff. Thinking about a lot of stuff. Using my pens, of course. I want to do some more artwork. If I had some time to paint a little bit more over the next week. So I'm starting this painting. And as you see, I'm using my TWSBI Echo with platinum carbon black just to draw in some lines. I'm going to start building up washes of watercolor. And then even though I talk about painting, a lot of my painting involves drawing, even with color. So quite often I'll use line work with watercolor and build up paintings. I use a lot of gouache. I use some acrylic and colored pencil and ink and pens. And I'm just going to keep on working on YouTube. I really enjoy it, and I hope if you like my videos, it'd be great if you subscribe, and if you like them, give me a thumbs up, and any comments or suggestions, I'd love to hear from you. People are very generous and very, actually I'm really enjoying it. I'm learning a lot, and I'm going to try to improve. And when I get some cards made, I'll start looking around to see what's going on, like, maybe farmers markets or pop-ups or things like that. I should probably do an Etsy page. My daughter's going to make some cards. I just realized that when I went over the edge of the paper, my pen splattered a bit of ink, but that's I might be able to use that in some way. I can cover it. What else? I've been thinking a lot because last week my pen club got together and we were talking about, we tried to make some themes that we would talk about, and the last one we talked about journals and notebooks and how you journal and bullet journaling and, you know, book lists and things like that. And the next meeting we're going to be talking about Grail Pens. And I don't know how, everybody probably has a Grail Pen. And what is a Grail Pen? Is it a really expensive pen, or is it a pen it's rare? And where is your level of Grail Pen? Because I like ink so much, I don't really have that many Grail Pens. I have lots of, say, like, affordable pens that I want and need and like and have. And I have a couple that are expensive, but they're not outrageously expensive. They're not what you might consider a Grail Pen. What kind of interesting I'm kind of interested in hearing what you think as a Grail Pen. Is it a really expensive pen, or is it, something that, a couple $100, or a pen that you really want, but it's rare and you can't find? Or is it a vintage pen that's hard to come by? I was looking through, and I was like thinking about this, and I was looking through and trying to figure out what is my Grail Pen. And I don't have any Pelicans. And, I don't even have any inexpensive Pelicans, oddly enough. But if I had a Grail Pen, I would probably go for one of a Pelican M400 or something like that. I was looking at it, and there's like, a Grail Pen would be the Pelican 1000 series, the biggest ones. But I'm not a huge fan of giant pens, personally. So I was thinking, like, well, one of the smaller ones is actually what I would really like, But then I'm thinking, well, is that a Grail Pen, So maybe a Pelican 400 series with probably like the classic, well, actually red and black stripes. That would be nice, because I'm a big fan of red. I could put a red ink in it. But I don't think I'm going to get one anytime soon, unless I stop buying inexpensive pens for a while and try to save up my pennies. What I do is I have a jar, and I put money in it. Every time I have a little bit of change or something, I toss it in there, and that's sort of, a way of justifying my expenditures on pens. And so I save up a little bit of money every time, like that. Maybe I could, just not buy something for a while and do that. But I don't know. The other one I quite like the look of is Waterman Karen, the amber one. That's the other one. And those are the only two that I could really come up with. I was looking at a lot of different brands, and I don't know if I'm a Mont Blanc person. I can't afford it. I don't know if I really would. Even if I could, I would. There's lots of other brands, but nothing really jumped out at me. I like, I'm a big TWSBI fan, so like, yeah, I'd rather spend money on a bunch of TWSBIs, because they're so fantastic. They write well. I've actually tried out some really expensive pens, and if somebody was showing me a pen that was having some problems, and expensive pen, and the nib doesn't really write well. And I'm thinking, well, this is a gold nib, and they can't even tune it. I won't say what brand, but then you pick up a pen with a nice steel nib, and it writes beautifully, and you think, wow, that's nice. But it's just a steel nib, and everybody, so sometimes gold versus steel, you're going to get stinkers in both, right? You're going to get beauties in both. So, which is your favorite? Gold? Steel? What's your Grail Pen? I'm still thinking on what my Grail Pen is. If I had there's some Conway Stewart vintage pens that I would consider Grail Pens for me. And some of the colored ones, celluloid and different finishes. There's some herringbone finishes and snakeskin finishes that are really beautiful. And they're kind of, they're hard to come by sometimes, and they get into bidding wars on eBay. So if you're lucky, you have to really want it to get it sometimes. And I'm very careful when I'm on eBay. I have a price, and I don't go above it. And if I lose the bid, I let it go right after a certain point. And I do have one Conway Stewart, the black Conway Stewart 106, and I really like it. It's a beautiful little pen, you know. Hits all my bells. Like, you know, I have a thing for vintage black and gold pens. Yeah, so there's a lot of vintage pens. Actually, some of the vintage Pelicans, the MK10s and 20 and 30s are really nice, and I'll have to go looking for one of those. Those would be cool. But they're not that expensive, oddly enough, and I haven't really focused on those yet. Maybe sometime this year I might get one. See if the right price comes up in good quality and good shape with the right nib, I'll bid on it. So yeah, Grail Pens. That's what our next meeting will be about. And yeah, so anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's just me rambling and talking, but I like vlogging. I like watching other people ramble on about things, and so I enjoy doing it. So I'll be doing some more videos this week. I'm not going to try to post every day, but I'm going to do every other day. And I have a lot of pens that I still haven't reviewed and talked about. And I don't really consider myself a reviewer. I'm more of an introductory YouTuber. I'll introduce you to things. But I have lots of things I'll be showing, and some stuff coming, and I'm always working on things and always have projects on the go. It's a lot of fun. Bye-bye.